Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Align podcast. I hope you all had a good start to this week. I'm your host, Ruhi, and I'm so glad you're tuning in today. Today's episode is dedicated to all the incredible parents out there. And I'm so excited because I have a very special guest here with me, Coulter, who's here to support and empower parents just like you. Her mission is all about helping everyday busy parents feel extraordinary about their parenting journey. Trust me, this conversation is packed with insights, so you don't want to miss it. Please stay till the end. Shannon, I'm so happy you're here, but before we dive in, how are you doing today?
I am wonderful. I am even better to having seen your face this morning. So it's morning for me, evening for you.
Absolutely. But it feels so good to finally have you back on my show. I know I have been working with you to schedule something on my calendar, but for some reason it was not working out. But I'm so glad that we are here today and having this conversation.
Me too.
Okay, I have had the opportunity to connect with you and know a bit more about you. How about you share a little bit about your work with our audience?
Yes, for sure. So I am currently on a mission to help parents today bring a play-based childhood back to their kids. And the reason is because we have kind of seen a shift, and I'm sure if everybody is honest with themselves, we've seen a shift from play based to tech based. And this journey started for me 16, actually 17 years ago, when I met my stepkids who are now 27, 26, and 21. But back then they were 10, 8, and 4. And I walked in to meeting them. I had been dating my husband for a year and a half, which is awesome. So he didn't want me to meet them until we were set in stone so they wouldn't go through another breakup. So that was great. But I always joke it was really smart of him because then I couldn't live without him. And all of a sudden he's like, here's 3 kids. So I was like, oh gosh. But anyway, I met these kids. I was 31 years old and I had grown up Generation X. So I had spent my whole childhood outside playing. So I just kind of assumed that's what was going on with these kids. So I'm thinking I'm cool and I'm like, hey, go outside and play. So within 5 minutes, I am not kidding, they came back in and they're like, Miss Shannon, we don't know what to do. And I am like floored. I'm absolutely floored because I'm like, well, how do you not know how to do that? So I at in the beginning I thought there was something wrong with my boyfriend at the time and his ex-wife. Like, okay, your kids have issues because they can't play. But that was not the case. I was a communication consultant at the time. So my job at the time in corporate America was to take what employers were doing and communicate it to their employees. So I did a lot of research. So I ended up going and doing research about kids because I was absolutely floored that these kids didn't know how to play. What a weird thing. It's the natural thing of a child to play. And what I found, and this was back in 2008, what I found was that kids were having a hard time playing because of technology. So they had, and I made this up myself now, but they had kind of atrophied their imagination muscle. So because they were looking at screens all the time, when you got them off of the screens, they kind of didn't know what to do. Whereas, you and I were outside playing and then one thing became another, became another, became another.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do that. And so, like I said, this muscle had atrophied. So they're not wanting to do it. And what I found for me and what I'm finding for parents now, and I'll tell you why it's 17 years later, but they would come and then ask me what to do. So I told you I was 31 at the time. I'm a creative person, but how many things am I going to come up with? Like, do this, do this. So they would do a few things, and because their muscle hadn't gotten fully grown again, they would come back and ask me. Well, I start getting tired. I'm like any other adult or parent at that time. I have other things to do. And what do we do? I'll ask you, Ruhi. What do you do when the kid comes back into you? You're tired. What is the easiest thing to do?
I think in today's time, it's making sure that they are busy with something technology.
Yep, you put them right back on technology, and therefore you're atrophying that muscle again. So it's this vicious cycle. And so I wanted to get them off of it, but I could not be what I call the imagination station for them. Or my husband, if you're, a parent, you become the chief entertainment officer. And that's not what you signed up to do. So so you've got all these other things going on. Am I going to be the activity director today for my kids as well? And it's fine sometimes, but parents have other things to do. And like I said, back in my childhood, my parents could do something and we're all outside playing, but that's not what's happening now. So I wanted to come up with a super simple way to give parents activity ideas that wasn't a Google search, because what happened for me is I go out on Google and I do a search, and there would be an overwhelming amount of things that come at me. And I think there was Pinterest at the time. And I joke about this, but I don't. And this is kind of the adult technology thing. A lot of the stuff that I was seeing, the women were perfect, the activities were perfect. It was like you have to get all these things. And I'm like, I can't compete with that. So my idea was, how can I make this super simple, low material stuff you can do at your house
Mm-hmm.
that's any parent can do? So that is where we started our company, and it's called again Planet FASA. And FASA means Family Activity Stories Service Awards. And in a nutshell, I wrote children's books to get kids interested in it and to put activities in it. And then we did a website. So this is back in 2011. And we came out with the site in 2012, right when apps came out. So it was a huge miss. And then stuff happened with our family. I ended up raising my 3 stepkids, and so I got to be a mom, and we put the company to bed. But there's more to the story, but, do you have any questions? Because I just talked for a long time. I could talk forever, so.
I love the introduction that you said, how exactly the idea came up. But definitely, I would want to understand or rather hear from you. Uh, I'm pretty sure there were a lot of challenges that you must have faced while raising the kids, at the same time competing with the technology back then, because unlike our childhood, in current times, all we see is our kids are glued to the either laptop, iPad, or phone. So, what was the approach that you took to make sure that the transition happens with the kids?
Yeah, here's the thing that's really interesting about this whole story is that when we and I now say we put the company to bed. Before I would say it failed, okay? But I've totally shifted my mindset because we are now building the app. Like literally right now this summer building the app, and I know what we did wrong with the site and all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So it's such a cool thing to have done it before and not done it right. The other thing I have going for me is now I've been a mom for 17 years. Where then I was brand new. So now I have this experience, like Ruby's saying, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know at the time I had empathy toward it. I was experiencing a little bit, but now I have sympathy because I've raised 3 kids with this
Mm-hmm.
technology. And
Yeah.
it is hard because it's addictive. I think the other thing that has happened, so again, I keep bringing up the dates, but I'm bringing them up for a reason. When this occurred to me in 2007, 2008, I looked at these kids and I'm going, yeah, this isn't good. Because you know when you're talking to someone and they're looking at their phone, you know they don't you don't have their attention. And yeah, and we all know when there's an email coming and a phone notification and this, that, and the other thing, that your brain is all over the place. So I was looking at the kids going, this is not going to bode well for them. Well, 2010 is when the front facing camera came out.
Mm-hmm.
So when people could start taking selfies, I think I have that right. And then Facebook bought Instagram. So the selfies came out, the liking, sharing, commenting, and it just demolished Generation Z. And what I mean by that is they were the first generation to ever go through puberty online. Can you imagine that? Like, think about how bad puberty was for you. Now imagine doing it with a smartphone. And so everything I was worried about has now been proven to have happened, unfortunately. So there's books written about it now. And when you look at the depression levels of that generation, the boys' depression level has gone up 161%,
Mm-hmm.
and girls, it's 145%. That's a big deal.
Yeah,
It's
it
it's a
is.
really big deal, and so they're kinda tracing what has happened, and I wrote this down by Jonathan Haidt. He said, "This is the largest uncontrolled experiment humanity has ever performed on its own children, because we just gave them these things and we didn't know what was gonna happen to them." So, it's quote unquote better for me because now I have the statistics and say, "Hey, we gotta change this," but I'm sad that it happened to a generation of kids, and I, like, am adamant, Ruhi, that it cannot happen to this next generation. We have got to right this ship. So I challenge everyone right now to think about how you feel, and I know we all do it. I'm sitting here like on a mission for this company, and I do this. Okay, so how do you feel when you doom scroll? You're sitting on your phone and you're just
We don't even realize the time, is what I would say.
no. And didn't you have somebody on your podcast who talked about that? Joanne Hayward.
Yes, they
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. So it sucks your mind in and you're sitting there doing that and you don't even know you do it. And then it's like any other thing you do that's not good for you. I'm not assuming
Hmm.
everybody's had too much to drink, but when you have too much to drink, you have a hangover. Anything when you eat too much, you can feel sick to your stomach. It's the same kind of addictive thing. And it is really bad for us. I mean, I'm in my late 40s, okay? And I do that and I feel bad. Imagine your kid whose brain isn't fully developed, what it's doing to their brain. And so in the research that they're looking into now, it's actually rewiring their brains. And that's why the depression and the anxiety and all the stuff that's happening to them. So it, in my parenting, I would say, and I'll give helpful tips. I wish we fought I don't think the kids had phones until they were 13. I don't think kids should have smartphones until they're 16. I just don't. Like there's stuff on there that is just so bad. But even with their phones, we'd have them put their phones to bed. So
Hmm.
they'd have to put them down so their brains would come off of them and they would actually go to bed because a lot of kids are taking their phones in their bedrooms with them and they're staying up all night. So that's one thing. Yeah.
But the challenges that you mentioned, they are so relatable, and I'm pretty sure you had to put a lot of efforts to make sure you address those challenges in timely manner. So thanks for sharing that. Now, based on everything that you have observed, what do you think is really stopping kids from using their imagination these days?
What I think is going on is that the technology is ubiquitous. It's like everywhere. And there's
Hmm.
something called oh, I can't think of what it's called right now. A mirror effect exposure. So if you think about when cell phones first came out, you never saw them in the hands of a baby. You never saw them. But our world does this thing that when you see something over and over again, you start thinking it's normal. So people started handing their babies phones. They started handing 2-year-olds tablets. And so people at first were like, well, that's really weird. And now you see it and it's not weird anymore because by mere exposure, it's normal to you. So I think that's one of the problems is that people are seeing other people do it and they're just automatically thinking it's okay and they don't know the ramifications of it. So I think it's an education thing. But
Hmm.
on top of it, I think because it's been something that's normal, I really will go back to what I said. The imagination muscle has atrophied. We have got to get the kids playing again because I promise you, your kids do want to play. It's natural. And so you've got to give them ideas and get that building, and then they'll do it. One of the problems with that is what do you have to do when you have a bad habit? You don't just say you're going to quit your bad habit. You have to replace it with a good habit, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you're quitting eating sugar, let's say, and you're just like, I'm not going to eat any sugar. Well, you might go crazy unless you replace the time that you were going to eat it. You replace it with walking, prayer, having iced tea. You have to do something else. So you can't just come to your kids now. Now, let's say we're dealing with parents who are listening that have 12-year-olds, and you have and by the way, I want everybody to know that I don't blame anybody for this. Like we didn't know this was an experiment. I had the same hard time, and I also want people to know I'm not screen free. I'm screen light. We cannot not teach our kids technology. We just have to teach them a balance with it. So it's not all they do. It's just something they do. So if you have a 12-year-old right now who's used to coming home and being on technology for 3 hours, and that's a reality, you need to say to them, okay, you can start small. You can be on it 2 hours tonight, but for an hour, I want you to do X and give him or her something else to do. And I'm telling you, it will start being rewarding. But the other thing is you have to do it too, parents. Like you can't just say, be like, but I'm going to be over here on my phone. So it's a process of like a slow change back to it and leading by example. What we're doing with our app is we have done a points and rewards system to it. So I always joke, but I'm totally serious about it. Like humans will do anything for points. We really do. I mean, don't you get excited? Even if it means nothing, you're like, yeah, it's a points. I always joke that I have Chase as my bank and they give you points based on your credit card spending.
Hmm.
And I'm excited about that. I'm like, "Okay, you only have those points because you spent that much money." "Yeah, but yeah, thanks, yeah, good job." So, with the idea with so I'll go back to the app because people are like, "Okay, this sounds really hard. What do we do?" So with the app, it's an incentive program.
Hmm.
So we have in there I'll just give a scenario. Let's say you are a mom and you have 3 kids, and they come home after school on Thursday. You've had a really hard day. You don't wanna put them on technology, but you have to clean the house and make dinner. Okay. And so the kids are bothering me. What do I do? What do I do? And you know that the kids have been sitting all day. All of the activities we have mind, heart, or body points because
Yeah.
I think that creates the human. All those things need to be in harmony. So you've got these three kids. You don't know what to do. So you put it in the app. I've got three kids. I need an hour and I want them to do body activities because they've been sitting all day. The app will come up and give you 10, 20 suggestions. And all the suggestions are tied to points. So
Mhm.
you can say, and you know your kids. So let's say your kids are completely crazy about having a cookie after dinner. So you can say, if you guys earn these 100 points, you'll earn the cookie. So the idea is you're giving the kids what you're going to give them anyway, but now they're earning it through play.
Wow, that's
So
so
does that make
creative.
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and somebody said to me, "Oh, that's manipulative." Well, so is, saying that you're gonna be on the naughty list with Santa, right? It's parenting. So my suggestion is, you set that 100 points up every day. If you have a kid who wants to, stay up 5 minutes late, I mean, you know your kid. Some kids have the weirdest stuff that, like, gets them going. If your kid likes that extra 5 minutes, make it 100 points every day, and when they get home, just say, "Okay, you're gonna do your activity." You guys pick the activity, they get the points, they get the 5 minutes. It's very simple, but the idea is as that child come home and plays that 100 point or whatever you pick activity, that imagination muscle is growing, Ruby, and they're gonna start taking that activity, and they're gonna start adding to it like we did. Like, "Now I'm gonna do this." You know what I mean? You would take stuff and just make all sorts of different things, and you're gonna have a kid who comes home and ends up playing 3 hours. So, that 2 hours on, 1 hour playing, it's gonna turn into 3 hours because it will, because that's what drives kids. So that's the idea behind it.
I would definitely say the app that you're working on, it's quite creative, and I'm pretty sure a lot of parents listening right now will relate to that and maybe even start rethinking how they can be more creative or bring in the creative space for their kids. So thanks for sharing about your app.
Yeah. Yeah, and this will help them because we're gonna give suggested activities, we'll give suggested rewards. We're gonna be there for you. The other thing I love about it, not every activity, but a lot of them have an extra challenge, and that's what I'm talking about. So you did this, now try this. And then they have a things to talk about. And that to me is golden because if your parents have the app, the grandparents have the app, and the kids come home, they can say, "Oh, we saw you did this activity today," and they can ask the questions about it. So it's not just the, "How was grandma and grandma's house?" "Fine." "What'd you do?" "Nothing." "Yes, you did." So now it's like, "Okay, see, you did this and it's worth 20 points. Talk to me." And they'll talk to you. And the cool thing about that is I have my own values as a parent, as a woman, that I teach my kids. But this way, Planet FASA is being a jumping off point for you to teach your values to your kids. So through these conversations. And I think that's important because it's giving parents a way to talk to their kids. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually a fantastic idea that you're coming up with. So, congratulations to you. And I just have a follow up question about this app. Is there any age limit for the app that needs to be used by the kids? Is it about 5 years or something like that?
So we say we're targeting 4 to 12-year-olds. It's
Mm-hmm.
really depending. So the app is going to be for parents. It's a parent app, so the kids won't be on it. Like it will be
Okay.
for the parents. Um, but it will have privacy settings and all that stuff because you're still, using it. You don't want people to know how many kids you have and all these things. But I always say that your kids, and even with my books, I have some 4-year-olds, and I can explain a little more about them. But I have some 4-year-olds who love them, and I have 12-year-olds who love them. So it
Mm-hmm.
just really depends on your child and what makes them tick.
Wow. Uh, when exactly is this app going to be ready? I know you guys are working on it, but do you have any timelines when it is going to be ready?
Yeah. So today, I don't know when this podcast is coming out, but today is, what is it? It's June 23rd. We are
Mm-hmm.
building the prototype right now. I will have that out to show people in about a month. And then after that, I'm going to have a free version of it, a web app, so that you can go online. If anyone knows what a web app is, I'm sure a lot of people do. I don't really, but not on the App Store. But anyway, it's gonna be a web app, and I would love anybody who's listening to go on. We're gonna have a sign up on our
Mm-hmm.
website that you could be a tester for this, because what I did wrong the first time is we built our website kind of in a vacuum, and I didn't ask for feedback. I am doing this to create a community of parents who wanna make this movement, who are saying, "Yeah, I want my kids off of tech so much, but also I don't want to be the imagination station. So help me." So I want it to be very helpful for people. So we're going to put it out there for free for a month or so to have people give feedback to us
Hmm.
so that we can make it as best as we can based on people's wants and needs. And then after that, it will go into the App Store. So I'm thinking like best case scenario, probably 3 months. Yeah, they can build stuff so fast now. It's amazing.
Yeah, all the parents listening right now, please look forward to this app that Shannon has mentioned. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot more creative and it's going to help the parents to make sure they bring out the creative side of their kids. Uh, so all the best for that. Um, Now there are a lot of parents who say that my child gets bored so easily and I don't know what to do about it. From your point of view, is boredom a really problem or could it actually be a good thing?
I think it's a great thing.
Can
Boredom
you
is where we
elaborate?
yes. Boredom is where we come up with wonderful things. So if you let your kids stick in their boredom for a while and don't hand them the phone, watch what they do. I mean, you can
Yeah.
hand them a right? You can hand them a paper towel roll, right? And just say, "Try something with this." That is where their creativity is gonna come. If you do not save them from their little discomfort, they
Hmm.
will create stuff because they don't want to be sitting there. So it's just, and I think a lot of parents today, and it's okay, but are trying to be we saw that some parenting was a little mean. We kinda coddled our kids too much. Your kid is okay if he's sitting there being bored. It's okay. So, yeah, to me, that's where creativity, imagination comes into play. Like, what can I do right now to make my life better? And watch them. And then if they can't come up with anything, grab the app and give them some ideas. But no, I think boredom is where creativity and imagination thrives.
To me, it looks like you're breaking so many myths through this discussion. I never thought on those lines that boredom can be something good. But definitely listening to you when you say that don't give them any phone and see what they actually do when they get bored. And that's where
Mhm.
the creativity comes out. So that's a very refreshing perspective, I would say. And I think a lot of parents will feel quite relieved hearing that boredom isn't something to panic about, but actually a space where their imagination can grow.
Yeah, and I
Uh,
think you're gonna see
mhm.
how cool your kids are because
Yeah,
if you don't let them get bored, then you're always, coddling them and kind of the technology is gonna lead them in a certain direction. But if you give them something to do, watch what your kids do. Your kid might have some weird skill that you had no idea. Like maybe they take the empty paper towel roll and they start, cutting it or designing something out of it. And you're like, I have an artist. Do you know what I mean? You're never going to know unless you let them go. So
yeah,
I think
that's
it's a
right.
really good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, your books are really different. They actually mix the stories, puzzles, and even some movements. Uh, I want to know what made you want to put that all together.
Okay, so Ruhi, I know you love cats. So my it's one of our bonding. Um, my characters are it's called the Fawcett Tales, but Tales is Tails. It's a play on the
Hmm.
word. So all the characters I write about are the dogs and cats that my husband and I have loved throughout our lives. So they are our actual pets. Um, and we sat down and wrote biographies for them. So it was really fun. And so what I wanted to do with that so this is a leap into the future. The future of the app will turn into a place where your kid will have an avatar, and the avatar, based on how many mind, heart, and body points they have,
Hmm.
will grow differently. So if they've not done anything with their brain, their head will get really small. Something that will physically show them how they are. And I wanted them to be excited about that. So they get to pick one of the characters. And even when they go into the app now, they'll be able to pick one of the characters. But I also was using it as a way to give parents something that they can do for a day, a week, or a month with their kids. So each of the books, and introduce this new way of playing and thinking and talking. So each of the books has a story. And in the story, I give a moral lesson. So the first one is my persistence has paid off. So we see the main character Fasa, and it's Fasa because my real cat was named Mufasa. So that's where Fasa came from. I didn't want Disney to sue me, so I changed it from Mufasa to Fasa. So he's in there. He's trying to figure something out, and when he does figure it out, his persistence leads him to get adopted. So it's super cute. And so we learn my persistence pays off, and all of my 7 books end in a cliffhanger so that the kids want to read the next book. So it's kind of like a chapter book. And so then I give 2 plot twists. And the idea in the plot twist is to reinforce persistence pays off. We watch Fasa. He makes a decision that takes him off of the path to his happy ending. So he's not going to get there. And so we have the kids do something real quick to get him back on the right path. And that is showing them choices and consequences. So here he made a bad choice, and the consequence is that he might not get to his happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
And in those two plot twists in every book, we teach. So this one is persistence pays off. So the two plot twists are if at first you don't succeed, try again. And then mind over matter. So it's just reinforcing that. And then we go into 5 activities, which are like the activities that are going to be on the app,
Mm-hmm.
and they also reinforce what Fossa did, and they reinforce what the other characters did in the other stories. So they're like, "Ooh, Fossa did that. Now I'm gonna do it." So we have a 5 senses scavenger hunt. One of my favorite ones is fear not, and we teach the kids to draw something they're scared of and then draw something funny over it and face their fear. And that's really cool because then we give it things to talk about, and mom and dad or grandma and grandpa, who's ever doing it with them, can talk about a fear they had and how they conquered it. So that's where I'm talking about the value transfer.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something cool to talk about. And then there's coloring pages, there's a word search, and the word search goes with a quiz. And in the story, I use big words because our kids are as smart as we were. Okay, they are smart. So I use big words. I have a lot of words with each picture because I'm trying to build the imagination. And in the back, there's a quiz with 10 of the big words. And when I say where it is in the story and give 2 examples, they can go back and read it. And do you know what
Mm-hmm.
context clues are? That's looking at something in the context of something and try to figure it out. So they can
Okay.
go back and try to figure it out, and then they choose the word. And then there's
Mm-hmm.
hidden pictures. So it is like a giant, I think the first book is 77 pages. So just
Okay.
lots of stuff to do. Yeah. So yeah, that's the books.
I think that's very fun way to keep the kids engaged while also speaking their imagination. Uh, let's say a parent has just 20 minutes, which is, I think this is quite relatable situation. A parent has just 20 minutes between dinner and bedtime. What's something fun and simple that they can do to keep their child, active and get that creative side up?
I think you can do something as easy as tell me 5 things that made you happy today,
Hmm. Being
because that
grateful.
yeah, gratitude is always good before you go to bed because you get your brain thinking about good things, and then you have better dreams and you wake up more grateful and productive. I think that's a really good one. I think it's good too because for me, one of the things that I'm so excited about this whole thing is that as you ask your child that, you'll think about it too.
Absolutely.
So I think that's one that would be really fun. Pick their clothes out for the next day. That's kind of fun. Or have them pick your clothes out for the next day, right? Just little
Yeah.
things. You can everything with a child can be a game. You can even, this is silly, but you can have them take all their socks out of their drawer and take them apart and do a sock match. Like, yeah, there's all sorts of fun things, just quick little things that I mean, they can help you fold the laundry, but make a game out of it. Fold everything backwards, So little things like that
Mhm.
are great things for both of you because it also keeps you off the phone.
Yes.
Yeah, which is
Along
cool.
with kids, I think
Yeah,
it also helps the parents.
yes, I
Um,
think so.
I'm pretty sure all the parents who are listening will appreciate how simple that is, but also how much it can build that bond between the parents and the kids. Um, some parents feel like they are not creative enough to help their kids use their imagination. What's your take on that?
You are way more creative than you think you are. That is our education system, and I have
Hmm.
done a lot of research on this. They seem to think that imagination and creativity are separate from everything else, and I would tell you you're not. If you are a mathematician, you are creative. If you're a scientist, you are creative. Whatever you're doing, you're creative. Whatever you're doing, you have vision. You don't even put your socks on in the morning without envisioning it first. So I want them to know that you don't have your coffee without picturing it in your head. You don't realize you're doing it, it's that quick, but
Hmm.
you have a vision.
Yeah.
So first off, I want you to know you are creative. You really are. And so don't let the world tell you you're not. You're still alive because you have vision. So that is, but I will say that's one of the reasons I'm coming up with this app because even me, who I find myself to be a pretty creative person. I run out of ideas too. But any little thing can be creative. You can look in your silverware drawer and have your kid count the tongs on your forks. Like, it's a game. So, yeah, but I think yeah, I mean, I've said this multiple times, but you are more creative than you think you are. Um, you can ask your kids, "What 3 things do you think I did today?" Your kids love to learn about you. They don't know what you do. They know you get up in the morning, dad, and go to work. They don't really know what you do. My kids thought my husband sat on the phone and used big words. That's what they said to people that he did.
I think it's a great reminder, Shannon, that uh, the parents have to understand that you really don't have to be an artist or super creative yourself.
Mm-mm.
But sometimes it's just about being present and curious about them. Try to, let them know more about you and also learn something new about your kids.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
yeah, you must have heard from kids or parents about how your books have had impact on them. Okay. Uh, is there a specific story that really touched you? The one that you still think about?
I think the coolest thing, it made me keep going. Um, when I gave my books in the beginning, I gave them to a school principal because I just wanted to see if they were okay,
Hmm.
children. And my favorite story was that the kids, I only gave them 1 set, and the kids were passing them around between um, the classes and wanting
Wow.
to read about Fasa. So I
Hmm.
think the fact that they loved the characters, and it's really fun for me. This is, as I'm saying it out loud, I'm coming up with what it is. My favorite thing is how much the kids love Fasa.
Yeah.
So he's the main character throughout the whole thing, but what he has going for him is imagination and kindness.
Hmm.
That's his character. He is an absolute goofball, and he is so positive, imaginative, and kind. And the fact that that's pretty much the favorite character of the kids, that's a big deal because that shows that what we're trying to build in kids is exactly what they're being drawn to. Yeah, and that just makes my heart happy.
I think that's very lovely to hear that. Thank you so much for sharing, and I'm sure uh, it really shows how deeply your books connect with people. So even with your app, I'm confident that it's going to get very good response from parents and the kids. So looking forward, looking forward to that. Now, when a child grows up using their imagination often, what kind of person do you think they grow into?
Can you say that again? I
Sure.
missed the first part.
So when a child really grows up using their own imagination, yeah, how do you think, what kind of person do they turn up when they grow?
A person like you. A well-balanced person who's pursuing their dreams, because you have to have an imagination, like I was saying, to have a vision and to know what you love and to know what drives you. And you can't be your best self if you're not out there figuring out who you are.
Hmm.
And so imagination goes along with play. Okay. So I've done a lot of research on this too. When you are out playing, you are developing all the characteristics you need to be a well balanced adult. You're developing your creativity, you're developing social skills like problem solving, empathy, critical thinking. You are doing all the things that you need to do to become a leader, and when you're not doing that, you're not learning those skills. So the type of person that has an imagination is going to be the type of person that creates and becomes an entrepreneur
Hmm.
and pursues what they love, knows who they are, and just can tap into their own heart and their own mind. So that's why we want this, because when we take that away, we take away our next generation of leaders. Really,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And it's so amazing how something as simple as imagination can have such a deep impact on who we become with time.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
if you could share just one message with every parent listening right now, something to help their child grow up creative, curious, and connected, what would that one message be?
I think leading by example would be my number one thing right now, as hard
Hmm.
as it would be. But if you want your children off the phone, you're going to have to put it down as well.
Yeah.
And don't question how. I know that's going to be a little inconvenient sometimes, but I'm telling you right now, try it for a week and see the amount of joy that you have in your heart and how much your kid starts changing. And I know we can do this. I think if we all join arms together, that we can do this and we can right this ship for our kids, and we have to do it. And there's a second thing I like to always say, but I want everybody listening to think of your best childhood memory. And I don't think anyone's ever said to me, "Oh, it was when I was playing a video game." It's you, Ruhi, you're probably thinking of something right now. It's usually something with a friend on a bike,
Hmm.
something like that. And I want to tell parents, I know that you love your kids and you would do anything for them. So don't take away their opportunity to have that childhood memory.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a very good reminder. I'm sure many parents listening will feel inspired by that. So thanks for making it sound so simple yet so impactful. Okay, now we have had such meaningful and inspiring conversations so far. But before I let you go, let's have a little bit of fun. And I have some questions for you. All you have to do is don't overthink and just say what comes to your mind. Okay. Okay. If you could borrow the imagination of any fictional character for that day, who would it be?
Oh,
Besides Mufasa.
this is going to sound so silly, but Scooby Doo.
Okay.
I loved him.
Cool. And why is that so?
I just loved him as a little girl. I
Hmm.
loved him. He was so upbeat and always solved all the crimes. And no one ever thought he
Okay.
could do it.
As a kid, I rather had so much of I don't think crush is the right word, but had these imaginations that I would meet the Casper character someday in my life.
Really?
Yeah, because I loved him for the fact that he didn't wanted to scare people. He wanted to befriend people. He wanted to help
Yes, yes,
them.
exactly. Oh, that's so cute. I love that. Yeah.
Okay, what's one thing from your childhood you wish kids today could experience more often?
Oh, playing all day into the night. I mean,
Cool.
that was awesome. Yeah, coming home
Yeah.
sweaty.
If your imagination had a theme song, what would it be called?
Oh my gosh. Don't stop. Yeah, it was just don't stop. Yeah.
Okay, a storytelling superpower you wish you had. Time travel, animal voices, or making books come alive.
Oh, well, I already do voices. I didn't say this, but I have all my books are narrated
Huh?
by me. So I do
Wow.
the animal voices. Yeah. So if you do want to listen, have your kids get the book, I
Uh-huh.
narrate them on YouTube and you can have them listen to it, but I don't have my face because I want them reading the words. So thank you. I forgot to say that. But
Sure.
oh my gosh, time travel would be fun.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, now you got to complete this statement. A world without imagination would be.
Depressing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think you were pretty quick and, of course, creative for the questions. And I loved the very first question that you answered. Okay. Thank you so much, Shannon, for being on the show. And it's such a joy having you. I must say, I learned a lot about you. I didn't know about the voices thing. So thanks for sharing that. And I'm really looking forward to have you one more time in future for one more episode because it's so fun to have this conversation with you. And thank you so much for sharing your experiences, the challenges that you faced, and breaking this down in simple way to all the parents listening out there.
Thank you for having me on here. I love seeing your smiling face, and it's an honor for me to be able to share my message on your platform.
Thank you so much. And to all the listeners, I hope today's episode gave you a new idea or a fresh perspective to bring back a bit of childhood joy. And if you like today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And of course, feel free to share it with a parent or a teacher who might enjoy it too. I'll catch you all in the next episode. Until next time, as Shannon said, keep the imagination muscle moving. Thank you, Shannon. Bye bye.